It's been weeks since Charlie Kirk lost his life at the TPUSA event in Utah, and we still have more questions than answers. Who is this person that was seen running away immediately after the shot and just so happened to be wearing an identical outfit to Tyler Robinson? Why was there no exit wound? And who else was in on this plot against Charlie Kirk? One of the individuals who has been singled out as a possible co-conspirator is Skyler Baird.
Why is the FBI telling witnesses from the Charlie Kirk assassination to delete their footage because it might cause them PTSD? Ryan Simmons luckily backed up his footage on an external hard drive, and I have to wonder if the FBI wants it deleted because he caught an angle of this character on camera. His name is Skyler Baird, and weirdly, there were Google search spikes of his name coming from Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Washington, D.C. before September 10th. But now Google Trends has scrubbed that data. Skyler kept very close proximity to Charlie's security guard before the TPUSA event when they were pushed up against the wall, and during the event when they both were front row. Skyler's Facebook shows that he was dropping out of helicopters for the Coast Guard in 2018. But now he's claiming to just be a digital content creator, even though he only has 7 posts, 5 of which were after the Charlie Kirk assassination. But he somehow got a floor press pass to the memorial. He was the guy that mainstream media interviewed over 7 times, each time saying the exact same thing.
Watch the video for like 10. It's like maybe 10 or 15 feet away when it happened.
I'm not trying to be cynical, but I don't see any physical tears.
Because you'll never believe what his first contribution was in the moment after Charlie Kirk was publicly executed.
I was right there and kind of escorted him. I mean, there was a cop right there too, but kind of escorted this guy to the cop, and he was like, I shot him.
That person that Skyler was referring to is Old Man George. Remember George Zinn, the guy who stood up as soon as Charlie was shot and shouted, shoot me, shoot me. And then after that, we were told he was some kind of bad man with very dark proclivities. So let's forget all about him. Well, I guess Skyler just happened to be there to help apprehend the decoy. Coincidence, I suppose.
All of this and more has cast a cloud of suspicion over Skyler. And so I reached out to him. We spoke for over 2 hours, and I asked him directly about all of the peculiar circumstances surrounding him, and you'll get to judge for yourself whether or not you believe he's telling the truth. You know, while I was preparing for this interview, I was buried deep in research, and at some point I thought I should probably stop smelling like my laptop and start smelling like a human being. Recently, I've been exploring different fragrances to complement various occasions. However, committing to a full-size bottle without knowing whether it's the right fit can be a lot. And so that is why I use Scentbird, a monthly subscription service that allows you to choose from over 900 authentic designer and niche fragrances. Each month, you receive an 8ml vial which lasts about 30 days, enough to find the scent that resonates with you. In my case, I've been trying Colette by Toka, which has a very light and floral scent to it, and Moon Glory by The Harmonist, which has a more seductive smell, perfect for a date night. Now let me give you guys some application tips, okay? Option 1, you can spray on your chest, and then once behind the ear, never rub, okay, because it damages the top notes. And tip 2, apply some moisturizer first because it makes the scent last longer. Since these scents are subtle but intentional, I really love wearing them because when I go out, I get compliments. I don't get people upset that I'm overpowering them with my scent. I have people who appreciate that I smell nice and they ask me, oh, what is that? And I tell them, you know, I have Moon Glory And I have Colette by Toka. Now here's a great deal. You can try one of these fragrances for yourself and get 55% off your first month. Use code NissCee2 at checkout or scan the QR code. You get to try your first fragrance from Scentbird for only $8.97 and your next month will only be $17.95. Use NissCee2 at checkout or scan the QR code on the screen and find out which scent will become your signature. Now let's get back to the video. The reason I reached out to you is because people, of course, have been commenting about you because you're one of 3,000 people who were there at the TPUSA event the day that Charlie Kirk's life was taken. And so I just wanted to talk to you about that. What brought you to that event that day? Were you oppositional to Charlie? Were you a fan of Charlie? Were you impartial to Charlie? Had you purchased a ticket in advance or did you just show up and hope for the best?
Yeah, I don't think they were selling any tickets.
They did.
They sold tickets?
They did. They sold tickets, but nobody was checking tickets.
There was no fencing. There was no checking. Like there was nothing that would prohibit anyone from just walking up. So I don't think that anyone was actually purchasing tickets. Maybe. I was a fan of Charlie, still am. I actually know way more about him and his positions now than I did before, because before that event, I saw him as a political commentator. I saw that he had a lot to do with young students, the young vote for Trump, and so I saw him as political.
So you attended the event as a fan.
Yeah.
Were you just happened to be in the area that day?
I'd already planned on going. Like I'd wanted to go, but I was like, I'll probably show up late, you know? Like I'll come up a few minutes late. So I went down and I was on the phone with some of my friends that I wanted to come with me, but neither of them could come. We were on a three-way call, and I actually verbalized to them, like, I hope there's not a shooting, because like a week or two leading up to this event, there was like crazy animosity with petitions. There was people reaching out to like the governor and all sorts of. I'm sorry, my voice is gone today because I was at a football game last night and we won by a lot.
So you're speaking to your friends that they're not able to make it. You get there. So what happens next?
And so I walk up, and the most obvious place to stand was kind of to Charlie's left up on a platform, but that's where all of the like super liberals were standing too. But there was this like wheelchair ramp that went down kind of to where I wanted to go. The area that I was looking at was actually like kind of like a little media area. I was dressed in my work attire and I looked somewhat professional. So I just pulled out my camera and stood next to some of the other people that had their cameras out. And I was just kind of like acting the part.
Now, someone who was also there that day and was backstage with Charlie Kirk is Phil Lyman. And people have been asking you questions about your connection to the Lymans because public record search shows that you do have a relative, Debbie Lyman.
My stepfather's ex-wife of 30 years ago remarried a guy with the last name Lyman. And they're like, haha, we caught you. You're related to Phil. And like said hi to him once at like a funeral.
So you're standing there in the crowd. Charlie Kirk comes out. He's throwing hats. What do you remember from this point up to when you hear the bang?
The first guy that got up, he asked about like Charlie's opinion on Mormonism, because the kid said like, oh, we don't disagree on much, but we do disagree on this. Anti-Charlie people that were there started chanting, F the Mormons, F the Mormons. And except for they didn't say F, they did the non-Mormon word. And so I may have started an F the liberals chant after Charlie was shot because of that. And then comes the next guy, and he asked Charlie, I mean, you've seen the video. I mean, he asked Charlie about trans shooters and if their guns should be taken away and things like that. And
I have seen people who have they've accused you of being a crisis actor because they think that when you're, getting emotional and tears are shed, or they say sometimes you're not crying, but you make in the face. They've accused you of being a crisis actor. They say that your affect is insincere. So what is your response to those accusations?
Something that like people need to remember is like when news articles happen, like they cut pieces out, right? And so if there was a moment that I'm like sobbing and like not saying anything but just crying, like they cut that out, And so, oh, there's no tears. Well, yeah. And it's like it's edited. The news. I didn't have like editorial license on what they put in there. And even if I did, I don't know that they probably said like, yeah, we don't want to show him actively crying.
I think one of the reasons people honed on you specifically is because you did make so many media appearances.
Yeah,
And then also there's the fact that George Zinn is also a very suspicious person. And from
right.
what I understand, you are someone who was there with him and brought the police over and said, this guy says he did it. So I think those are the reasons why people were zeroing on you specifically and thinking that you were in on the plot, and therefore when you were speaking to the media, you're acting because you knew this was going to happen because you were in on it.
And that's where that theory falls apart too, is because like, yes, I was down there, and George Zinn, like I didn't know who he was beforehand, but he comes up and he's like kind of like old man crazy yelling stuff. And he's like, oh, he was faking it. He was faking it. It wasn't real. It was all fake, blah, blah, blah. And I look at this old guy. I'm like, dude, like, shut the F up. Like, I just saw this guy get murdered. I saw the blood. He was definitely shot. He kind of like looks down. He's like, I shot him. I'm like, what? He's like, I shot him. And I like look to my right, and there's like an officer over there who like I could tell was like with an earshot. And I was like, kind of like, bro, like, come over here. And so the officer comes up and he's like, what did you just say? And so I was like telling the officer, I'm like, I genuinely don't think this is the guy. I think this is just some crazy guy. And so if I'm in on it and there's some sort of like CIA, FBI, Mossad conspiracy that like involves George Zinn, would I tell the officer this isn't really the guy? This is just some crazy guy? That doesn't make sense.
Well, if you're creating a distraction, it doesn't really matter what you say if the goal is to create a distraction, right?
I guess so. But it, my goal was to eliminate the distraction. My goal was to say,
Hmm.
no, this is a distraction. Don't like I told the
Yeah.
officer, like, I don't think that this is the guy. This is a distraction. Like he's just crazy.
He's an interesting guy. I watched a podcast interview that he did. It was like a 50-minute thing. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but I watched like a good 20, 30 minutes of it. And listening to him speak, he's very coherent. He seems like a very intelligent guy. So it's very easy to dismiss him as crazy, but it seems like a lot of what he does is deliberate. That's the impression that I got because you would expect someone who's crazy enough to say, "Oh, I did it, I did it." You would expect them to be like not able to hold coherent conversations. He's very intelligent when you listen to him speak. And when I was watching the podcast that he did, he seemed like he was cherry picking the information that he wanted to give. He personally, I find him suspicious. But you say you don't know him, right? You don't know George Zinn at all. You're a Mormon, correct?
Yeah, I attend the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I
Yeah.
often go to like, I mean, not often, but I'll attend like a non-denominational church or Catholic mass and things like that too. I like learning
Okay.
from all different faiths.
I saw a post on Twitter that they think that you're posing as a Mormon because of your hairstyle.
They definitely did not like my ponytail. That was evidence that I also was CIA and Mossad, because all those guys have ponytails.
Because because a Mormon would never wear a ponytail. That's the argument. There have been uh, internet sleuths who have
Yep,
been looking through Google Trends to see which search terms were coming up prior to the Turning Point USA event.
yep,
People were searching Lance Twigs in Israel, which Lance Twigs is a very specific thing to search. People
yep.
were searching Hunter Kozak, people were searching George Zinn, and they say they found your name that was being searched in Israel.
I late last night, I in preparation for this interview, I was like, so I had actually searched my name before when I first saw that someone posted that, and I was like, really? And I searched my name, and I was like, nothing comes up. They're lying. They're making this up. This is stupid. Like
Everything's been
someone
erased
just,
though.
well, that's what they say, right? But then I look closer, and I like in this super blurry, like pixelated image of like my name searching up, and I see that they have like a date range, and it was like March 1st through September 9th, right? And some of
Yeah.
them, on some of the things, they're clicking web search, and some of them they're clicking YouTube video. So I look really closely and I see that, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to change my search patterns to that. And guess what I find? Every state almost, every country almost, it's like there's hits in those time periods. And so like if you very specifically only search for District of Columbia and Israel, there's the connection. There it is.
I had tried replicating the searches that people had done,
Did
and
you use the time filter? Because if you change the
I
time
did. I
filter,
did the time filter, and like when I tried to replicate people's searches, like nothing would come up. Like everything was erased. And I know stuff has been getting erased from the internet. Like there was a web page that I personally had archived, and I double
yeah.
checked to see that it was archived, and now it's gone.
About what?
Someone's erased. It was someone else. Someone else. I don't want to say what it was, but it got erased nonetheless. It got erased.
Tinder
No, no,
date.
no, no, no. It was related to it was related to the Charlie Kirk thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't doubt, like, I mean, there's been a lot of fishy stuff. My phone was acting weird,
But what was
coincided with
happening?
like nothing was like getting deleted. It was just like it would freeze randomly and it would do different stuff. And I'm like, so I wouldn't know if it was because like I had a phone call with a radio station from Israel. And I was like, was that actually like Mossad calling me and they were like planning a bug on my phone or something?
Wait,
Don't,
wait, wait, wait. Oh, a radio station from Israel called you?
ah, weird, huh?
When?
Around that time
To do what? To
to do
interview
an
you?
interview. Yeah. Just ask me about my experience.
Oh, that's
Right.
crazy.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was weird. And then like the more weird thing is that like they've like ghosted me since then. I'm like, hey, can I hear the story? I'm like, crickets. I'm like, huh. I wonder if I was just talking to like intelligence or something. But
Oh,
because they like at the end of the interview, they asked me some weird things too. They were like, what do people like you or people in your circles think about Israel? And do they think that Israel was involved? I'm like,
that's what
this
they
is weird.
asked you? So your phone was doing weird
But
stuff after the phone.
after that phone call, I was doing weird stuff. But I don't know. Like, there's also like the coincidental thing that like the new iPhones came out right then, and so I feel like Apple always messes up with people's phones. Right
We've diverged on several paths. Okay.
where we got to is right to the point where the guy was asking about the transgender stuff.
Yes. So he was asking about that. You hear the loud pop. At that moment, did you have an idea of where you thought it came from?
I didn't hear a boom or a thud. It was like a crack. And if you watch, and like some of the like one of the Danny video, her conspiracy theorist video was like, oh, this might be why the FBI wants this footage deleted because there's footage of their guy in the background. I'm like, I'm literally telling people I was there. Why would it matter if I was in the background? It's proving what I'm
Yeah.
saying is true.
Yeah.
But if you watch that video through, like you see my reaction, like you see my face drop, you see my stomach churn, and I immediately turn away because of what I just witnessed. And
Yeah.
this is like it's like, and now it's like I want to. I'm not turning on tears. Like these people are like, oh, he's faking it. Like no, like these are the memories coming out of someone that I witnessed getting murdered, and people are going to like comment that I'm fake crying or that like because I'm trying to fight back tears that I'm a crisis actor. Like the words that come to my mind start with an F and screw all you guys, right? Again, back to the bullet trajectory. When I saw the blood spurt on the left side of Charlie's neck, I interpreted that basically a bullet was coming from Charlie's right side from high up coming down towards me where I was on the left of Charlie.
Have you spoken to the FBI?
Nope.
So law enforcement they haven't contacted you?
Nope.
Okay, so you're not going to be a witness at the trial or anything like that.
Not that I know of. I'm assuming it's because I've been in the media so much.
You attended the Charlie Kirk Memorial. You managed to get onto the floor, and that's a
Yep.
lot of people have been asking questions about that.
Firstly, would like an FBI or Mossad agent like use their real name and their public profile and be using it for all this stuff
What if
for
that's
like
not your real
10, 20
name? What
years?
if that's not? What if that is your identity? We don't know. We don't know you,
I've been
Skyler.
building for 15 years or more. There's like YouTube
But they
channels
do
of like,
that. They do that. Listen,
do
once
they?
again, playing devil's advocate, there are people who are secret agents that go like for example, Russian agents who will go to America, have a family, start a whole life, have a fake identity, and they spy on behalf of Russia in America. This happens. It's not a made up thing.
Okay. It seems far fetched. It seems like, in my mind, it seems like the far less probable answer. But I was talking to my son last night. He's 13. He's like, Dad, why are you quiet? Like, why are you so quiet? And I was like, oh, I'm just thinking, like, they think that it's weird that I was so close to Charlie, and they think that it's weird that I was able to get floor seats or on the floor of the memorial. And my son's like, well, it is kind of weird. I'm like, what? Like, who are you? He's like,
No,
well, they don't.
your,
He's all,
your son doesn't trust you either.
he's like, it's kind of weird. And he's like, He's like, they don't know you like I know you. Like, obviously I know you and I know that like you can get into things like that, but they don't know that. I used to do video production. I know that like there's always a media area. There's always a place that you pick up your badges and stuff like that. And so I was just like, I'm gonna go see what I can find. As I'm walking, I see this road that you can get up there, and I see a few people dressed in like what appears to be media. And so I just like start chatting up with one of them and start walking next to her, and she shows her badge and she and I are talking. So he just assumed we were together and lets us both through. Yeah, I get through the metal detectors and I'm like, sweet, made it through. And then they're like, where's your badge? I'm like, badge? What badge? They're like, you have to have a badge to get through here. And I see this like Turning Point USA table that has a bunch of badges. And like, there was like this moment that I could have like walked up and taken a badge. But I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. And so I walk up to the table and I give them my name. I'm like, seeing if I'm on the list. I'm like, of course I'm not on the list. And they're like, nope, sorry. Like, as I'm seeing other people come up, I'm like, oh, this isn't like a media table. This is like a donor table. And I'm like, excuse me. And he turns around and kind of looks at me and I'm like, I'm really trying to get in. Like, I was at the event where Charlie was killed. And I was wondering if there's any way that like you can help me to get into the event. And he's like, yeah, let's see. And so he walks back up to the table and he's like, hey, we had an extra ticket. One of my guys wasn't able to make it. Could I give it to him? And then the Turning Point USA like staffers, whatever, look at each other like, yeah, sure, no worries. It wasn't a media badge. It wasn't the press badge. It wasn't like the politician badge. It was just a floor badge where 6,000 other like TPUSA donors were. So yeah, I just got as close as I could because that's what I wanted to do. And that's kind of the story.
I saw a video of you, and you're very close to Trump. How did you get so close to the president of the United States, Mr. Skyler Baird?
Doesn't matter. It's cool when I do cool shit. The other like conspiracy things is like, oh, his mother is like, she does things as satellites. And like, she did have someone that she knew that worked there and was like, hey, I heard that the president's coming. Would it be possible for us to meet? And they let me see what I can do kind of thing. And then they gave us background checks, and
they're like likening you to like how George Zinn manages to show up everywhere. Like he was at the Kobe Bryant criminal trial. He's here, he's there. And he's a weird guy. So people are like, well, Skyler's showing up everywhere too.
Not really. I mean, you're looking over like decades of stuff.
So you're not a Mossad agent. You're not a Mossad agent. You're not Israeli secretly.
Not Israeli. I almost said
you wouldn't tell me anyways if you were.
But that's the thing is like how do you answer that? If someone says I'm a Mossad agent, it's like, it doesn't matter if I say I am or say I'm not. I'm not going to believe either of them. Right?
Yeah.
It's like they're going to lean into their biases. And even for me, like where I said, like my interpretation was that the bullet came from south to north.
Yeah.
But then I see video footage of a guy laying on a roof. Like, okay, maybe my interpretation of that event is wrong. Maybe what I saw, what I thought was an exit wound.
A lot of people think it's an exit wound.
If it was an exit wound, then that bullet is underneath the tile that's in the ground there.
Yeah. Well, okay. And once again, if we're gonna entertain all options, they did go and rejig the whole thing right after,
which is insane. Like the optics of that are so bad. If my interpretation of events is true, then that bullet is in the ground somewhere right there.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I could think of why someone would want to pave over it, right?
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the interview? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you would like to see the extended cut of this interview, I will have it available on my Patreon. It's there for paid members. Also, if you like the sweater that I'm wearing, my blessed sweater, this is from my merch line, and the link to my merch will be in the description box down below. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to use promo code NissCee2 or scan the QR code on the screen to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird. And the link is also in the description box down below. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.